Oh, you're being so boring, Andrew. You're so flat. Go get some coffee and energize. And all that means is he wants me to make an absolute idiot of myself. He knows what caffeine will do.
Hey Andrew, get back here and do some work.
Hi. Okay, let's just go.
Too much coffee this time.
Too much? You told me to. Oh, you're a bit flat.
You were a bit flat.
Just inject coffee into your eyeballs and then you'll be really stupid.
So Andrew, what the hell am I doing here? What's this place?
We're at Rae Rae House today, which is designed by the best architecture in...
Yeah, I think that's a cue for not saying that.
Yeah, we've done that gag, have we?
Yes, we have. Next.
Today, Kev, we are at Rae Rae House by Austin Maynard Architects. Rae Rae, two Rays, because there's two homes here. This is a consolidation of two lots. There were originally two single-fronted, single-story terrace homes. The owners of one of them, the southern block, family of five, were looking around for a bigger home. Crazy prices here. It was actually much more economically rational to buy the northern block when it came on sale and use that extensively as their green space, and we ended up building a house to the south,
Right,
which opens up towards the sun.
I thought you were just being cute and calling it Rae Rae.
Rae Rae. Rae Rae. No, it's two Rae Street properties, so...
Okay.
Yeah. You know, if you're in a terrace house, you know what it's like living there. If you have guests over, they've got to do the long march down a dark corridor, and they have a peek in your bedrooms, and you've got to get all the way out the back before you get near a living space. What we've been able to do here, because there's two blocks, is have a single entry where you come straight into garden and living space. You don't have to go past private spaces. We put in a little study to the left, so you could actually have people over here and do some business without them coming into your house. A guest room on the right, where you actually can have your own separate entry into that if you've got somebody staying with you for months. And then this one here is actually the shed. That's the tool shed there, the old front door, which connects straight through to the garden. We also put this hole here, just so this wall didn't disconnect the front yards. And the kids come out here, whenever they've got somebody coming over, they come out here and they actually sit here and wait. You've always got to have somewhere to perch when you first come in the house. Now you've got the kids, or visitors, you sit them up there, take their shoes off, throw them underneath. There's even a little spot here for umbrellas to sit. A little PowerPoint under there, so you can put a little charger through and leave your phone if you want it. Hang your coats, chill the hell out, then enter the house. It's not that hard, really. Kevin, draw me like you draw your French girls.
That guy there?
That one?
Yeah.
Yep.
Hasn't
I see him.
subscribed. Everybody else has subscribed. He hasn't. What's that? You freeloading. Like seriously, we put all this effort in. You can subscribe. Just subscribe. Really that hard. Sick of it.
Sorry. Just hit the subscribe button. Hit it. Hit it hard. You'll be fine.
So this is unusual. You come into a terrace house and you actually get to see garden straight away. You get to come straight into the living space. More garden, and you don't walk past private spaces. And in here you can see how we've actually manipulated the roof so that it's got some lovely character. It captures where the fireplace is, it captures where the lounge room is, instead of just having a big dumb flat ceiling. Then we're in the kitchen where you've got a huge pantry out the back. So this is on the south. You put all the junk to the south, so you get lots of sunlight coming in from the north. And that's actually connected straight through the splashback. So instead of having kettles and toasters on your bench, they all hide behind there. All your junk's in here, but then you can actually work with somebody. You know, you can bring through your cereals and things like that, but it can be another bench, another workbench. Here, I'm chopping this up. There you go, start cooking that. And then if it gets really messy, shove it all away, leave it for later on. Sorry, just checking Tinder. So these little moments are so important. Kitchen bench, dining table, somewhere just to perch, read a little book. You know how it's great to sometimes read a book and have a quiet moment, but near activity, near people? We love grabbing these little moments. The garden's right here. This is north again, so lots of sunlight streams in. And especially when you've got young kids, the kids just find themselves perched in this little cubby house. Kevin, draw me like you draw your French girls.
Stop it, Andrew.
I'm just here to ruin your videos. Really close family. The parents' bedroom, which is up the top there, that is completely open to these shared spaces, the dining room and the kitchen. So you can be upstairs and somebody can be cooking breakfast and you can be chatting away to them. But then there are huge sliders, big heavy sliders that can go and cut that off. So of course it becomes a really private space.
So this is the master bedroom. And the ensuite.
Sorry. Sorry, I can't. Sorry.
So Andrew, why all these houses you've got, there's a lot of perforated metal?
Perf's great because you look in a certain direction, it's really transparent. Lots of sound travels through for the right spaces. But if you look at it in an oblique way, it completely becomes private and cuts it off. We also really like it for floors. As you'll see in the kids area, it means you can have a conversation with somebody directly below you. So it's a way of breaking down the two separate levels.
So I guess they look like a series of boxes slotted in underneath the roof.
Yeah, that's right. So if you put a smaller object in a bigger volume, the spaces feel bigger. If we had just continued this straight up, that would have felt like a really small space, but it feels like a much bigger space. And then when you come in here, we've got the rumpus room on one side, and we've actually got the garage on the other side. And instead of just a big dumb wall, we've put in another box, which is full of storage, but it can, because of the continuation of the ceiling, it feels like a bigger space. And then up there are the kids' bedrooms. 3 kids' bedrooms, a bathroom, and a toilet. And right there is the street, the little laneway out the back. We decided to actually spend a little bit more on something more generous to the context. So we've actually used a slate roof. You look around here and there's a lot of pretty cheap colour bond. But we've actually put in a slate roof so it'll be there for a long time. It'll green over time as lichen grows on it. It's like a generous way of thinking about the oblique views up and down the street back towards our side. Instead of just thinking about the quality of our spaces, it's also about what we offer the context. We've deliberately left the house 200 millimeters off the boundary, and that means that we can get in this great little planter bed here. It's another way of being really generous to the context, so we get greenery onto the street. It also means we get these great creepers growing up the building. And that's the beauty of using really robust materials. It means that greenery can attack the building and camouflage it. So we've got the really active rumpus space for the 3 kids and their friends. And then if you come past the TV and slide this door away, you come into a much more quiet, thoughtful space. Now we've deliberately designed this to be a little bit darker, and this is less like the other spaces, which is about connecting outward, and it's more about looking inward, focusing on what you're doing. So it provides you to be in a different state of mind in this space. Kev, hi. Perforated floor. Means the kids can be here heckling their brother and sister below. It's a great way of connecting spaces, but it's not so great for mini skirts. Planning legislation has this really strange diagram called the res code setback. And that's the reason you see a lot of these cranked walls happening in a lot of buildings around town. Whenever we have spaces like that, we like to put bed heads at the end of them because you don't need a lot of height when you've got a bed head. And you'll see that in 2 of these rooms. The kids have put their beds straight in the back, but one of them's gone rogue and doing his own thing, which we like. Think for yourself, kids. Hello.
Come on. So why does it look like this?
There's a lot of thought in this. What I like about this is it looks like I've just gone, wobbly lines are cool, let's do that.
Been looking at like stock market.
Yeah. It's predicting a recession if you actually look at it. But actually what's happened here is because we've built on the southern edge of the block, our neighbours, we really need to protect their sunlight. We need to protect from overshadowing. So I decided where I was going to keep it low, and then I knew where I could go higher. So I built boxes and I put them in 3D and looked at what the sun was doing. So in the morning I realised it was casting shadows into Lightwell. In the afternoon I realised it was casting shadows into the backyard. So I decided to crank the walls inwards to get rid of those shadows. So I started ending up with this box form that got a bit weird, and then I thought, well, hang on, we need to turn this into something poetic.
It looks to me as an outsider, this looks like a series of, the primal pitch roof houses, a whole series of them stacked together, almost as if it was some kind of a little town, little village. And I guess in some ways my reading is that it is very much like a lot of these terrace houses. There's always been a lot of lean-tos and add-on over time. And also the row houses that's around the street, there's always quite a few of them together. And I think, because I get what you're saying, I think the program is actually very large. Yeah, so you probably end up having a very large, massive volume, which a lot of houses love the look of.
Yeah.
I guess this is kind of counter that, right? This is a lot more scaled to human and to the environment that this area is in.
Yeah, it's interesting when you look on Google Maps now and you see where people just flatten a block and put a huge box. It's like spaceships landed. We've always been interested in the idea that regardless of the mass, it has a scale that fits with its context. So that allowed us to do that. So when we dealt with shadowing, it suddenly became apparent that could enable us to create these smaller forms. Then when we started putting openings, facing north into the garden, connecting internal spaces, we looked at where there were solid bits of wall and they could be masonry, delivering all of that weight to the ground. And then where we had a big opening, we didn't want to put masonry above those because then we have to have lots of steel and that gets really expensive. So the form's also generated from like a rationale of structure. So where we have timber, there's a timber lintel instead, and that's above an opening, where there's masonry that gets delivered to the ground. So it's a very efficient structure.
Oh, that's why you've got the banding of brick, lightweight, brick opening.
Yeah, it's structural, but it also does play back into that idea of the village or breaking down the scale from something potentially massive to an accretion of elements. I've got my magnetic boots on. If you can't climb in a house, what's the point of having a house? Actually, I should have put rungs on there. You could have climbed from here, grabbed onto that, like that, and then kept climbing. Oh, that would have been good. We could add those. I'm leaving.
What kind of muffin is that, Andrew? It's apple and cinnamon. Thank you for asking. Like, comment, and subscribe. This is strong coffee.